This is WESH. The news starts now.
A high-flying success along the Space Coast tonight. And the matter of gays in the military is decided, but not resolved. Good evening, I'm Robin Chapman.
I'm Steve Rondinero. This is 2 News at 11. It has been said that politics is the art of compromise, but the middle road often does little to satisfy those on either end of the argument. So it goes with President Clinton's policy on gays in the military. It bans the military from asking the sexual orientation of recruits. Just being gay will not be cause for dismissal, but the policy continues to ban open statements of homosexuality and homosexual acts. In other words, you can be gay in the military, just keep it quiet. Well, several high-ranking military men have spoken in support of the president's policy, but there's plenty of fire from the other side.
Gays who raised millions of dollars for Bill Clinton's campaign say he has betrayed a fundamental promise to them. They're angry. Wendy Chioji has more on all of this from our satellite center. Wendy?
Robin, the president calls his compromise an honorable one, saying it's called don't ask, don't tell, don't pursue. And some critics say the president should also say don't read my lips when it comes to campaign promises. President Clinton campaigned on the promise he'd support gays in the military, an institution that condemns homosexuality. Once elected, lacking political support, he backed down.
It is the best way to proceed because it provides a sensible balance between the rights of the individual and the needs of our military to remain the world's #1 fighting force.
Mr. Clinton got the blessing of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
I am very, very pleased with this decision of the president, and it's one we can fully support.
But one openly gay congressman opposes the plan.
I am disappointed that this falls short of where I hoped we would be.
Senate Armed Services Committee Chairman Sam Nunn is already working on a law that would be more restrictive against gays in the military. And earlier on 2 News, we talked live with Tracy Thorne, a Navy Top Gun pilot from Florida who announced he was gay and was quickly recommended for discharge from the service.
Basically what the president has done is taken a 50-year-old relic of a policy, polished it up, added a few shiny new words, and handed it to the American people as progress. It's not progress, it's discrimination, pure and simple, and under that policy, I will be discharged in the coming weeks.
Now, in his own defense, President Clinton says Congress never would have let him abolish all the restrictions against gays in the military as he had promised. And if Senator Sam Nunn is successful, Congress may yet foil the president's attempt at a compromise. Robin?
Nunn, as powerful chairman of armed services in the Senate, has been a friend of the military, and military leaders aren't keen on too much of a change in the policy. Few people are neutral about President Clinton's compromise or about the issue of homosexuals in the military. Under the policy, gays can serve but can still be expelled from the service for homosexual acts. Here's a sampling of what your neighbors think.
What do you think about that?
I think that if the government had to draft people in the Army, that it wouldn't matter if they were gay or not. If they needed them, they take them, so I think they should have the right to fight for their country.
And I feel like gay people should kind of, I guess, stay in the closet. Maybe that's kind of cruel to say, but I don't feel like they should be fired if they want to serve the country or anything like that. But I just assume that they just kind of stay where they're at.
I don't think they should really announce that, you know, that they are gay publicly or even privately to the military because of the fact it's a national security risk.
That's like trying to say there can't be black people in the Army. I mean, that's really wrong, and I don't think they should press the issue. I think gay people are, you know, people are people.
Well, the issue won't be out of the news tomorrow. As Wendy referred to, that's going to be some hearings, and Senator Sam Nunn will open those hearings tomorrow for Congress to draft its own version, possibly more restrictive, of gays in the military policy.
Well, lots of smiles on the Space Coast tonight. An Atlas rocket has done its job, delivering a military communications satellite into space and reversing back-to-back failures for rocket builder General Dynamics.
3, 2, 1, 0. We have ignition, and we have liftoff of the Atlas Centaur 104 and the Discus 3 payload.
Music to the ears of the U.S. Air Force and the thousands of people who work for General Dynamics. The launch was perfect. Approximately half an hour after liftoff, the rocket's second stage delivered the satellite exactly where it needed to be.
It kicked the football, as I told y'all once before, around the world, hit the target. Right on, accuracy within 1 nautical mile of where it was supposed to be. That's what the guidance said.
The satellite is on its own now. An onboard motor will boost it to geosynchronous orbit 22,000 miles above the Earth. For General Dynamics, the Atlas II's success was a big step along the comeback trail.
We must prove our way back into reliability with successful launches, and I believe this was the start of it.
The future is definitely looking up for General Dynamics. Military is also smiling tonight. The Discus satellite completes a worldwide network of military communication satellites. It was the same system used for 80% of the communications during Operation Desert Storm.
In other news tonight, a Central Florida teenager is clinging to life, and the prognosis is not good, all because somebody wanted his Mustang. This is 16-year-old Philip Chandler, a nice kid, the son of a Central Florida police officer. This is where he got his hair cut Saturday before he became a victim of crime. These are the suspects: Mike Damon, 16, Terrence Jenkins, 17. Police believe they accosted Chandler, beat him, and then put him in the trunk of this car, his car. With temperatures hovering close to 100 degrees, it almost became the young man's coffin. There's another suspect, an underage girl. Right now, the charges are armed robbery. Authorities in Marion County hit the jackpot when they arrested Alfred Dinkins last week. Dinkins was arrested and charged with selling drugs in his hometown of Jacksonville, but a check showed he had escaped from the Marion County prison last month, where he was serving time for murder. Now prison officials have 2 more mysteries to solve. How he got out, they still don't know. And why, if he escaped from jail on a murder charge, would he go back to his hometown and risk breaking the law to go back to jail?
Makes no sense to me. No. One thing they do know is exactly how 4 cons skipped out of the Orange County jail. In fact, it's rather remarkable. They busted out a 5th-floor window, tied together some bed sheets, and rappelled themselves down the outside of the building. Alas, all their daring aside, freedom did not last long. The 4 inmates were recaptured an hour and a half later. One was found in the backseat of a taxicab that he called after he got away. You can bet officials are asking some questions about jail security tonight. One of these guys escaped from the jail only 2 months ago. Well, those fellows have some company in jail tonight. Orange County investigators say they've cracked a major stolen car ring. Here are 14 of the cars they seized. Police infiltrated 2 different rings, arresting 4 men with more arrests expected. And the groups had different MOs. Police say one stole cars, then used them to commit more burglaries. The other group stole cars to strip the parts and sell them off.
There were several incidents of boys molesting girls at the Waterpark Wet and Wild this weekend. Police reports suggest these are not the first such incidents. Though all appears safe at the park today, the attacks are similar to incidents recorded in the Northeast. Gangs call it whirlpooling. One of the victims, who's 15, told reporter Beth Powers what happened to her this weekend.
And then all of a sudden, like 20 or 30 guys approached all of us, and they just surrounded us, and they started grabbing every part.
5 other girls at the park are making the same claim. 3 boys were arrested. The park, in a statement today, stressed that it believes the water park is safe.
A 12-year-old Lake County boy who divorced his parents says he wants it to stay that way. The case of Gregory Kay, who's now Sean Russ, is being appealed before justices at the 5th District Court of Appeals in Daytona Beach. Now, the court says there must be clear evidence of abuse and neglect on the part of Sean's mother, Rachel Kingsley, who was not in court today. But the boy's adoptive family was. They were surprised when the court focused quite a bit on whether a minor has the right to file a legal challenge against his parents. Sean says it's time the court listened to the kids.
Many more children that are worse off than me that could use some help, and I'm just glad that I did this, and I also hope it'll help other children.
Attorneys for Rachel Kingsley says the state's job was to keep the family together at all costs, and they contend there was no effort to that end.
I'd like to be Solomon.
Well, this whole thing could come up all the way around again.
You'd think so.
If it gets to that point.
Well, here's another problem that's facing us. The FBI director refuses to quit. Clinton wants him out. Well, he's fired.
If you sent any mail into the flooded Midwest, it could be grounded for a while.
And later on, swimming with the manatees in the Crystal River could be banned for good.
You're watching 2 News at 11 with Steve Rondinero and Robin Chapman. Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Marsh, and sports with Mark Middleton.
It has a state-of-the-art security system with numerous electronic sensors located at key points of entry. Should a thief try to break in, an alarm sounds, lights flash, and all operation automatically shuts down. We've heard Fort Knox has a rather impressive security system, too. The Nissan Maxima GXE. Now you can lease the luxuriously equipped Maxima for just $1,000 down and $269 a month for 24 months.
Can't wait to see your videos from Orlando.
That doesn't look like Orlando.
It's not. It's Busch Gardens in Tampa Bay.
And that's the new Kumba coaster, the largest, fastest coaster in the Southeast.
Is that you, Mark?
And where's that? That's Adventure Island, right next to Busch Gardens.
Oh, we all had a blast. You can even go to both parks with a special 3-day surf and safari ticket.
And Tampa's only an hour from Orlando.
So what about Orlando?
Well, between splashing it up at Adventure Island and the wild tides at Busch Gardens, we never made it back.
KitchenAid ranges mirror nature in surprising ways, with even warmth, strength that endures, a mystery that unfolds, the fire of creation, all someplace a little closer to home. KitchenAid freestanding ranges built in ovens and cooktops, because we took a cooking lesson from Mother Nature. KitchenAid, for the way it's made.
Mow the lawn, clean your room, apologize to your sister, then I hear no. But when I say AT&T, collect call, will you accept? That's different. If some company says they can do what I do for less, I can save you time and money.
Spend $40 a month from home and now get 15% off all collect and card calls.
I've probably brought more people together than the Justice of the Peace.
Call today to enroll and start saving with the iPlan from AT&T.
Well, it's been a busy day for the president. Late today, he fired FBI Director William Sessions. With Attorney General Janet Reno by his side, the president said Sessions could no longer effectively lead the FBI. He cited the findings of this Justice Department report. It accused Sessions of avoiding federal taxes on his use of a government limousine, using an FBI plane to take personal trips, and improperly spending government funds for a fence at his house. Sessions later said he did nothing wrong.
It is because I believe in the principle of an independent FBI that I have refused to voluntarily resign. I will speak out in the strongest terms about protecting the FBI from being manipulated and politicized both from inside and from out.
That said, Sessions is out. Federal Judge Louis Freeh of New York is expected to be nominated as his successor tomorrow. Sessions' wife is especially bitter about her husband's ouster, saying he gave up a lifetime federal judgeship to serve as FBI director, and this is the thanks he gets.
The Mississippi was lapping at the toes of St. Louis, Missouri today. Some people at the edge of town actually saw the river rise higher than that. It really is the flood of the century. According to the American Red Cross today, more than 22,000 homes now have been damaged. More than 13,000 people have sought help. And so far, the Red Cross has served 500,000 meals out there. Things are looking better in Des Moines, where residents could have limited water service as early as tomorrow. Drew Levinson reports.
Another day, another levee break, and more people forced from their homes. This one an hour and a half north of St. Louis in Calhoun County, Illinois. The area is flanked by both the Mississippi and Illinois rivers. The small town of Hardin is virtually cut off. The only bridge leading from the town to the rest of the state is flooded. In St. Louis, the Mississippi River finally crested this morning at 46.9 feet, nearly 17 feet above flood stage. Upriver in Iowa, though it's hard to tell, the floodwaters are receding, but ever so slowly. The big news, after 9 days without drinking water, one pump at the Des Moines Waterworks is up and going. Still, that's for emergencies only.
We're extremely vulnerable right now. Don't use the water. Let us get the system filled up so that we can get back to normal as quickly as we possibly can.
It could be weeks before the city's 250,000 people get their tap water restored. Meanwhile, fresh water continues to be trucked in from across the country. The cleanup has begun. For many, it will take a long time to get back to normal. Last week, it was President Clinton and Vice President Al Gore visiting the Midwest. This week, it's Ross Perot. The Texas billionaire and former presidential candidate was in St. Louis today, touring the flood-stricken areas. Tuesday, he's in Iowa, first in Davenport, then here to Des Moines. Drew Levinson, NBC News, Des Moines.
If you sent any letters of sympathy to your favorite aunt in Des Moines, you better hope you didn't write her in washable ink. The U.S. Postal Service found the floodwater got the best of them at some point last week. 10,000 pieces of mail were in the wrong place when a levee broke. But we got to tell you, they are working on it.
Nobody has a clothesline long enough to hang this stuff out on.
They're using the sophisticated air drying method and say every last damp piece will reach its destination.
Now, if some bills were in there, it wouldn't be half bad.
Just as long as the checks weren't in there.
Yeah. What becomes of our mail tomorrow? Dave has the forecast next.
And did you notice school buses on the road today? Expect to see a lot more of them.
Let your mind drift back to another time. Almost impossible to imagine. Be touched by a living, breathing link to a prehistoric world. The world of the Manatee. Come to SeaWorld and experience as never before this vanishing creature. Help us make sure that this link to our world's prehistoric past doesn't share the same fate. Manatees, the last generation, new at SeaWorld.
My basic love of dogs and my experience breeding dogs makes me enjoy my career as a veterinarian even more.
David Qualls, top breeder of champion Siberian Huskies and doctor of veterinary medicine.
We give our dogs pedigree as a source of meat in their diet. When you open a can of Choice Cuts, there's big meaty chunks and a rich brown gravy. You can really smell the meatiness. Pedigree contains no soy. Pedigree is a very digestible and very nutritious dog food. For my money, Pedigree is the best dog food you can buy.
Pedigree, developed with vets, recommended by top breeders.
Ask a Ford dealer who builds the best quality truck and watch them dance.
The best truck? Let me get back to you.
It's Chevy Trucks, and the best resale value?
I'd like to address that, but not right now.
Allow me. Chevy Trucks. Buy an S10 Tahoe, now $99.96 with a V6 engine, no charge.
What a hook! Look!
$99.96 at your Chevy Geo team.
Introducing me Fingos, the wholesome new cereal made to eat with your fingers. How wholesome am I? Read my hips. I'm low in fat and so nutritious. So bye-bye bowl, so long spoon. Now all you need to enjoy cereal anytime you want are these.
Hey, am I good or what?
New Fingos, the wholesome cereal made to eat with your fingers in cinnamon and honey toasted up.
It appears from the tape we're seeing from Des Moines that the weather has let up a bit there.
It has. It was a beautiful day today, up in the sky anyway. The water's still down on the ground, but fortunately it is receding, and that certainly is good news for our friends up there and many other areas of the Midwest as well. But don't forget, there are some areas still in big trouble. Central Florida, we've had no problem really. Overnight tonight, just a few clouds out there. Low of 77 degrees, calm winds for most of the night and early morning. And then through Friday, we can expect essentially the same thing. Some thunderstorms in the afternoon. There'll be a slight decrease tomorrow. They'll increase again on Wednesday and decrease for Thursday and Friday. But each day there should be some thunderstorms around, but it will not be a great deal. Plenty of thunderstorms in other areas of the country, reaching from the northeast down to the south. As a matter of fact, the thunderstorms are still going to be quite strong in the portions of Nebraska, Kansas, and also Colorado and Wyoming. And they've had some trouble out there already this evening with some strong winds, a hail report. It's not uncommon to that portion of the country. So the thunderstorms are continuing to rumble around. But plenty of moisture south of the front, which is trying to make its way to the south. It's been doing that very well. It will not make it into Florida, but that's increased the moisture a little bit over the southeast and extreme northern Florida. So they'll have more thunderstorms up there than we will have in central Florida. Meanwhile, in the central part of Florida, well, we've had a high pressure system circulating around the state. You can almost see it with the cloud pattern circulating around the southeast. By the way, there's the development of the thunderstorms in the middle portion of the country. And with that high throughout the southeast, not budging, it's going to be staying with us. Again, there'll only be minor changes. And the circulation in the upper atmosphere is just like that, so it's sinking motion across central Florida. We're just not getting the action that we would like to see in the form of rainfall throughout the central part of the state. High temperatures. Well, Daytona Beach, a record 97 degrees to start things off. Deltona 95, also 95 in Melbourne. Leesburg 97, Ocala 94, Orlando 95, and Titusville even got warm at 91, and Kissimmee 94 degrees. We're going to be dealing with those kind of temperatures all week long. Cloud cover certainly sparse throughout central Florida. Most of this cloudiness over the northern part of the state. The weather radar indicating some rain up there that's moving to the south, but will not get down this far. Looks like there may be a few sprinkles down to the south as well. Current conditions, Orlando 84, Daytona Beach at 81, Melbourne checking in with 83 degrees, and Ocala at 80 degrees. Let's take a look at the forecast for tomorrow in central Florida. Should be a nice day. That's our outlook. Thunderstorms just about every day, and the temperatures remaining in the 90s for tomorrow. A little more specific, winds out of the west at 10. That means the beach temperatures along the east side will be around 90 degrees as well, and we'll have those scattered afternoon thunderstorms. So, hey.
Your high-low thermometer gave you a 78 this morning for the low?
78, yeah, a lot of readings like that. We had, I think, 98 at Norman Beach for an afternoon high.
That's too brutal.
Goes on and on.
Whoopee. We've got a manatee fight brewing in Crystal River, and it could get ugly. Now, this is the place the manatees put on the map. People come from around the world to swim with the unique sea creatures as they seek refuge there. But there's a growing movement to further limit people's access to those waters, and the battle lines are being drawn.
People chasing manatees, trying to ride manatees, grabbing calves. It's a zoo.
Nobody resents manatees until the agencies and the manatee zealots, as I call them, start whipping the people around with them. And
this fight comes at a time when there are fewer and fewer places for manatees to winter, so more of them come to Kings Bay, and that attracts more tourists to swim with them.
No winners there. Coming up in sports, Dolphins and Bucks roll into camp.
And the Express rolls in Texas. Nolan is back on the mound and looking good.
Now, through the year 2000, Sears Optical will pay for your eye exam. But you must enroll now during National Eye Exam Month at Sears. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Take a closer look at Sears. Make you smile, you'll see.
Sears Optical will pay for your eye exam now through the year 2000.
Take a closer look.
Nobody else grabs you, twists you, turns you, hurls you, shakes you, shoots you, loves you, and puts you right in the middle of all the action and adventure you've seen on the screen. Not anyone. If you want to go on the greatest rides based on the biggest movies, you've got to go to Universal Studios Florida, the #1 movie studio and theme park in the world. Universal Studios Florida, the only place on earth where you can ride the movies.
Back in 1946, Bob Evans was known for fresh breakfast, hot coffee, and small checks. We'd like to invite Florida folks back to that time with our weekday breakfast breaks. 10 of Bob Evans' famous breakfasts for $2.99 and under. Like our new country biscuit breakfast or old-fashioned granola. Stop by and pick out your favorites. You won't go hungry at Bob Evans, won't go broke either. Come on in for breakfast.
Are you ready for another incredible deal from your local Southern Ford dealer? Well, here it is. The factory has just reduced prices on all Crown Victorias by over $3,300. So you'll pay just $17,945 for the car J.D. Power & Associates ranked in the top 10 models for initial quality. The factory reduced prices by over $3,300. So you'll pay just $17,945 for a new Crown Victoria. See your local Southern Ford dealer today.
I'll tell you, even at 25 years old, watching Nolan Ryan out there makes me feel old.
You are dreaming. As you mentioned at 6, though, it would be nice to see him go out in style. Of course, he's already announced this will be his final year. Let's hope he can stay healthy.
Great.
In any event, the Express is back. After missing over 2 months with assorted hip, knee, and foot injuries, 46-year-old Nolan Ryan, the oldest player in the Bigs, was back at work tonight as Texas hosted Milwaukee. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. A sellout crowd at Arlington Stadium greeted baseball's all-time strikeout leader, And Ryan wasted no time doing what he does best. He struck out 2 in the first inning alone. Darrell Hamilton goes down swinging. Ryan pitched very well tonight. He went 5 2/3 innings, gets 6 strikeouts, allowed just 3 hits, and left with a 4-2 lead. There goes Tom Bernowski looking. The Rangers up 5-2 in the 8th. Ryan about to get a win tonight. All right, a couple of fine defensive plays tonight. First of all, Detroit and Minnesota. Cecil Fielder at the plate. 2 short stop, and watch Pat Mears as he dives, flips, and starts the twin killing. Now, Toronto at Chicago. Tony Fernandez at the plate goes to right field, and guess who's in the field tonight? Bo Jackson. Bo comes up throwing. Joe Carter trying to score from second, but Mr. Jackson with the artificial hip and all gets him. All right, let's take you to the scoreboard. The best race in baseball is in the AL East. Not much changing tonight. Toronto has beaten Chicago in a battle of division leaders. The Yankees about to beat Seattle, so those two will remain tied. The Orioles will remain a half a game back if they can hang on in that rain delay. Only Detroit loses. The Tigers now just a game and a half back. Boston wins and remains 2 back. Cleveland over Oakland. The Tribe just 7.5 back. On to the National League, where the struggling Florida Marlins opened a series at home tonight against the expansion Colorado Rockies. The Rockies should be just what the Marlins need. They were tonight. Starter Ryan Bowen allowed just 1 run in 7 innings, did get a little defensive help. Gary Sheffield to the tarp for a nice grab. Rookie Darrell Whitmore with his 2nd home run of the season, a 421-foot solo shot that is believed to be the longest in the franchise's short history. A record about every game, it seems. And all-star closer Brian Harvey did his thing. He comes on for his 26th save of the season. Fish win 3-1. On the board, the 2 second-place teams met in Atlanta tonight. Brian Jordan, 2 home runs. Cards win 4-0. The Braves now 9 back of San Francisco. The Giants over Montreal under the sun. The Cubs over the Reds. Chicago has won 5 straight. Houston over Pittsburgh. And out west, Philly at L.A. and the Mets at San Diego. Playing what's left of the Padres. In the Southern League, the O-Cubs split a pair with Knoxville, and in the Florida State League, Charlotte over Osceola and Daytona over Sarasota. On to baseball, or on to basketball, the Chicago Cubs today signed the Michael Jordan of Europe, 6-foot 10-inch Tony Kukoc, who can play both guard and forward. The 3-time world champs have signed the 3-time European Player of the Year. Kukoc averaged 18 points a game this season. In last year's Olympic gold medal game, he had 16 points and 9 assists against the Dream Team. Kukoc says his reason for playing in the NBA is simple. He wants to be like Mike.
My biggest reason is to prove to myself that like a good European player, I can play even in the NBA.
Bulls on their way to a 4-peat. Well, if you think you were hot today, imagine the Dolphins and the Bucks. We're headed to summer camp next.
Tune in tonight and watch mass quantities of Jay's show with guest Jane Curtin. She's from France, plus actor Robert Sean Leonard. And of course, Jay.
Big wheel, keep on turning. Proud Mary, keep on burning. Tonight Show, keep on broadcasting. Okay, I can't sing.
Only on NBC.
If you heard of a car whose performance is almost eerily smooth and quiet, whose dual airbags enhance a secure environment, whose finish resists even acid rain, would you want to take a closer look at it? We thought so. Introducing the all-new 1994 Mitsubishi Galant. It's everything you ever hoped for in a midsize sedan, and a few things you never dreamed of. The Galant from Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
Announcing something worth staying up for. This Wednesday only, noon till midnight, Kane's Furniture will be slashing prices to new lows, the lowest prices ever. Get unheard of savings for 12 hours only. Like this Italian leather sofa, just $4.99, or this twin full bunk bed, only $149. Plus 0% interest, no down payment, and no payments till next year. Free immediate delivery and free gifts for everyone. Hurry, these extra special savings during Kane's Christmas and July sale are only available this Wednesday, noon till midnight.
As these masterpieces unfold, they surround you like a symphony. Come visit the new Butterfly Conservatory. Wings of Wonder, now at Cypress Gardens.
Imagine the smooth acceleration, the quick response, the high performance of 93-octane Exxon Supreme gasoline. Move up to Exxon Supreme and turn the tiger loose.
Now a story about believing in your own talent. Last year, former FSU star Lawrence Dawsey refused a long-term contract with Tampa Bay, insisting instead on a one-year deal for less money, gambling on his talent. Today, that gamble paid off. Dawsey has quadrupled his salary. Last year, he played for $240,000, then went on to become the Bucs' top receiver. Today, he got a 4-year deal worth more than $1 million per season. The Bucs opened a voluntary 5-day minicamp today. Dawsey's signing leaves just 6 players unsigned, including top pick Eric Curry, and even without a contract, the big defensive end was in camp today. Meanwhile, the Dolphins opened their mini camp at their new facility in Davie, Florida. Not only do they have a new summer home, they got a lot of new faces, and according to Dan Marino, this is going to be the season of the Miami Dolphins. We've not heard that before.
No, I haven't heard that in a long time.
Let's hope so.
We're going to get you a glass of water.
Oh, I'll take it.
And we'll be right back.
Walt Disney World. You haven't seen it all until you've seen all of Epcot Center. Blast Off with Captain EO, starring Michael Jackson in 3D. Hold your breath for Body Wars, the thrill ride through a human body. Epcot Center is a day of exciting adventures. It's your ticket to a Broadway show. And Illuminations, the greatest laser light show on Earth. Now, for just $15 after 4 p.m., Florida residents can see all of Epcot Center.
Soon, you'll hear it. The best long-distance service is about to get even better. It's a breakthrough from AT&T Bell Labs, and it makes AT&T sound quality vastly superior to any other long-distance company. So much clearer, closer, and more natural. Even 8 out of 10 people who don't have AT&T prefer it. AT&T True Voice, coming in the months ahead, free. Just another part of the iPlan.
Walmart is aware of the economy, and a lot of people are struggling, not just some people, and I think Walmart serves the people. My kids can spend their money, their allowances, which isn't a whole lot, and they can get something that they really think is worthwhile. We enjoy coming into the store instead of worrying about what we're spending. My girlfriend from Nebraska, she said they'd stop by even if there was nothing to buy and go get something. We all kind of look forward to coming here.
Pilot to Bombardier. Bombardier, go ahead. Turning to final, 15 seconds to target. Roger, loading final coordinates. Okay, you are flying the bomb. Roger, I have the aircraft. Bombs away.
The new Bombay at Wet n Wild. It's megatons of fun.
Nice shooting, Tex. I call that one a hit.
Is that a mama or a teacher? Well, anyway, the autumn leaves are only a distant dream, but it was back to school for these year-round kids in Orange, Seminole, and Volusia counties. Now, the dedicated little bookworms that you're going to see now are going to Killarney Elementary. Things may actually have cooled down outside by the time they take their next break 3 months from now. They've already had 6 weeks off.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then they get another break while the other ones are back at school.
That's right, and by then it'll be, what, Dave, about 78 degrees outside.
That's it. Stay cool. See you tomorrow.